welcome to a special edition of ITV News Central, broadcast live from a transformed Birmingham New Street station. On the programme tonight, a new era for rail passengers as the landmark building opens for its first rush hour. It took 5 years and £750 million to build. We meet the people who made it happen. How a first-class station and shopping centre are set to generate billions for the city's economy.
And just look at that view. I've got the best vantage points of all. Find out where I am a little later in the programme.
Good evening and welcome to the new gateway to Birmingham. A bigger and brighter New Street station which is finally complete after a 5-year building project costing millions of pounds. Now we all know first impressions really do count, and with half of the visitors arriving via this station, there are huge expectations for what it will do for the reputation of the second city. So just how big is it? Well, as you can see, the concourse which we're standing on is 5 times the size of London Euston. It's got 28 escalators and 15 lifts, and a train leaves here every 37 seconds. There are 5 entrances, which makes it more accessible than it used to be. But I have to say, the jewel in the crown of this fantastic building has to be the sweeping roof atrium, which allows natural light to flood into the station for the first time in 50 years. Now, it does really feel light and airy, and during the programme tonight, we're hoping to give you a sense of just how much space there is inside. Janelle is outside on the new plaza to show you the changes that have gone on outside, so there is so much to look forward to. However, it's not just about the aesthetics, it's about making journeys in and out of Birmingham for you and I a much more pleasant experience. So has that happened? Well, it fully opened to the public yesterday, but the real test has been the rush hour commute, both this morning and, of course, as we speak. Callum Watkinson reports now on all change for Birmingham New Street.
A new dawn on New Street and a new journey for a daily 170,000 pairs of feet. After braving a building site for years, commuters were thanked today with chocolates and had nothing but sweet words for the latest version of Britain's busiest regional station.
It looks fantastic. We just said walking in it looks like Victoria or Piccadilly or somewhere like that in London, so it's pretty.
It's more spacious, it just looks better. Just don't look crammed or anything.
I think it's phenomenal, a transformational change.
This concourse is all about space. It's 13 times the size of Centre Court at Wimbledon, and the idea is to keep a steady stream of people flowing through the station and through Birmingham city centre, and it's certainly effective. It's the height of the morning rush hour, and it doesn't really feel like there are many people here at all. So, from the newly arrived to the long travelled. Unanimous approval on the inside, while the man who designed the outside reflected on his use of distinctive mirrored steel as cladding.
We came up with the idea that if we use the facade as these sort of mirrors that point down to the trains and point up to the sky, the cladding of the station would literally explain all these things that are happening inside of the building.
The redeveloped shopping centre will open on Thursday, but the new station has no extra track capacity. Plenty of rails for clothes, but not enough for trains, say some.
What I would like to see is I'd like to see Network Rail putting more railway lines into here, because you're still going to be waiting outside New Street Station for 5 minutes while the platform clears. No amount of wonderful investment from John Lewis here is going to change that.
It's a problem that some say could worsen as this improved station pulls in ever more passengers. But at least once they do arrive, their gateway to the second city is much more worthy of the name. Callum Watkinson, ITV News at New Street Station.
So, a busy day for New Street staff and commuters, and indeed the 3,000 people who are working here today, which is why you can hear the building noise as we're broadcasting. Well, to tell us more is Martin Frobisher from Network Rail. Martin, thank you very much for joining us. 6 years in the making for you. Now it's working, up and ready. How are you feeling today?
Absolutely delighted. It opened on time, and if you look around, there's just one word which describes it: wow. And from my point of view, if you were to judge a city by its railway station, then this could be the capital. I think it's great.
Well, there's certainly been some happy faces, but there has been some criticism as well about the lack of extra capacity for the trains on the platforms. Was that something that could have actually been changed?
No, we've done everything we can around the platforms. The big difference for the platforms is the extra stairs and escalators. So we can now get people off trains, up the stairs into this great space faster and easier than we ever could in the past. So as a station, it works really well with platforms that clear quickly, and this great space up here as a waiting area. It really does work well as an operational station.
And just very quickly, the barriers. We've had some tweets this morning, people saying that's been delaying their journeys. Is that going to change?
Well, I think people will get used to the barriers. I mean, for us, first day today, first day with the barriers there, I think as people get used to the station and we all become familiar with it, things should improve. But it's certainly a big improvement on anything that we ever had in the past.
Well, Martin, congratulations, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Well, let's cross now to Janelle, who is on the plaza. And Janelle, what has been the reaction to the new station from people who were actually there?
It's been really great, Sam, and I must say that today we've seen plenty of people taking photos, some of them actually grappling with the elements today. It was rainy and windy earlier on, but then what we've noticed is people taking pictures of the building, they're taking selfies, and of course they're taking arty shots with the reflective panels that you can see behind me. Now, it's been a fantastic day, but let's have a look at some of the numbers. Now, as we said, it's taken 6 years to build. We've had around 3,500 people have been working on this project. And then 6 months in, John Lewis wanted to join the Birmingham City Centre party. So inevitably, there have been a few delays. And in fact, the final bill, well, it could top around £750 million. That's quite a bill, but it's been really positive out here. And in fact, Andy Bevan is coming up with a piece. He's been dealing with all the people who have embarked on this epic journey.
Dark, dingy, and definitely not a warm welcome to Birmingham. Bursting at the seams with 140,000 passengers a day and trains arriving or departing every 37 seconds, the old New Street station was known all over the country, but for all the wrong reasons.
It was all sort of dark, dingy.
It's as I remember it when I was young.
It's like the sun's disappeared and will never come back, to be honest.
I don't know, it seems run down, just don't make me feel like I'm glad to be in Birmingham.
So, in 2008, armed with £600 million, Network Rail, the City Council, regional transport body Centro and 2 national government departments created the Birmingham New Street Gateway project. All they had to do now was build it while the trains kept running.
At peak, the project had 3,000 plus men working on the scheme, whilst an operational railway station has been operating at all times below and adjacent to us. From a personal perspective, I'm very proud to be part of the MACE team and the Network Rail team that's delivered the project. It's been a major achievement really from the start.
Stevenson Tower had stood since the 1960s, but its 22 stories sat directly above platform 12, so any explosive demolition was out. 7,000 tons of concrete were taken away piece by piece to be recycled. And as the block was coming down, one young site worker's career was going up.
As part of the 100 apprentices MACE in the Birmingham Gateway we're trying to recruit, I was fortunate enough to be one of those. Over the last 4 years, I've obviously gone from the apprentice to trainee, and currently now an assistant construction manager for MACE. You've seen various things over many disciplines, so yeah, all in all, brilliant.
Well, when the West Concourse opened, people soon found their way around the station. I don't think it's going to take them too long to understand the new layout. Those who come to visit Birmingham, I think they'll find this such an incredible station, and indeed beyond the station an incredible city. They'll want to come back here again. And of course, there are those who are commuting on a daily or a weekly basis. They will not recognise the place.
If you think the atrium roof looks like something from Cornwall's Eden project, you'd be right. It's the same material, ethylene tetrafluoroethylene, translucent, strong, self-cleaning and much lighter than glass.
As an architect, you can often see that in your own mind, but a lot of people need to visualise it for themselves. And although I could say, trust me, it will look like a fantastic space, once people go into this area, they'll see this space as a massive wow factor. What the people of Birmingham will see, not a dirty, drab little station that they had before we started on the station, but a wonderful big atrium and a lot of lights and space within the concourse.
"36 new escalators, 15 new lifts and 5 times more space on the concourse. By 2035, the new New Street station will be able to handle 300,000 passengers a day, and no doubt all of them will be feeling a whole lot better about Birmingham." Andy Bevan, ITV News.
Well, we certainly hope so. And we've had so many positive comments already on our Twitter and Facebook page. I'll just share a couple of those with you now. Joe Turner says, it looks amazing. We just need Wolverhampton to be rebuilt now. Wayne Hayden says, it reminds him of the comic sci-fi film, Flight of the Navigator. I think you know what I mean. And Lucy Onion says her husband Simon worked on it and she's extremely proud of him for being such a big part of the journey so far. Well, another person who's been on a very long journey with the New Street station is the design director, Carol Stitchman, who you saw in Andy's report. I met her a little earlier on, and I actually interviewed her up there. Carol, we talk about this being a 5-year project coming to completion, but actually for you, it's been a 14-year labour of love. So how does it feel seeing it now all complete and ready?
I've worked on the project since 2001 and it's been a real, like you say, a real labour of love. But I now feel today very much like a proud parent. I feel like a mum showing off her baby for the first time. There's a lot of smiling faces down there on the platform and on the concourse. So yes, I'm very proud of what we've achieved and the big team that have achieved all this today.
But it hasn't been without its challenges, has it really? Because 6 months into the build, John Lewis got on board and that presented a different set of problems, didn't it?
Yes, we never designed the John Lewis as part of this shopping centre and railway station, so they did come on board. They did cause a few headaches, but we managed to resolve that and we've got a really good building that fits in with the original design concept.
And what's been the general reaction today from obviously the people who are working here and indeed the commuters?
Fantastic reaction. Everybody says how nice, light and airy the atrium is, and I think that's been the biggest thing. The atrium, and what I find really fascinating is people standing outside where the stainless steel is and taking selfies of themselves in the stainless steel cladding.
And what about you, Carol? What's next? I mean, 14 years is a long time. Where are you heading to next?
Well, there are other rail projects in Birmingham and in London, but to be fair to me, we do have a vacancy here as station manager, so that might be something I could go a little bit of a career diversion for me.
OK, well, whatever you do, we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Carol, thank you for joining us.